what foreign planet do we find ourselves? Look at this vegetation. Is this Avatar? Aren't we on the planet Avatar? Where are we? What is this? What could sustain such growth? It's a truck. Discovered with that weird harness. I didn't know what it was. That is the power door lock switch. Why does it look like that? No idea. And the power door lock switch on the driver door, well, that's on my parts blazer far away from here. So I got a few parts I need to collect from that. And I just remembered last night, I need to get a top shock bolt. Top shock mount bolt. This one only had one. Now I kind of need two to be safe. So I'm trying to figure out what that is. I was looking at it, and you see there's like a little spot below, and then I see there's wire. Why is there wire? I bet that's my power door lock actuator. And I've got these sitting on a shelf. I don't exactly know where they install. It looks like that could be a screw right there. That's what that is. I don't know how that connects to anything else though. I mean, the actuator connects to that, but that's got to connect to the door lock or the door handle or something. I have to figure that one out. So I found my lock actuators. They are both the same, even though they're driver and passenger, the brackets are the same. It bolts right there. So it would go in here like this. The top of that, it just loops over. There's a post. You can see that post right there. It loops on the back side of it. That means that this part right here, it's got a little slot in it. That has to connect to the lock, or I guess the lock. The lock makes the most sense, where it would just somehow be connected here, and it would push it back, boom, unlocked. Pull it forward, boom, lock. How does it connect? I don't know that. Let's see, let's get this thing out of here. Looking at it, and get it back out. You gotta pop these rods out of here. I put it back so I could keep this thing in place. Got stuff everywhere. That's the emergency latch I need to get rid of. I don't see where it would connect. I mean, unless it connects right over top of this. I have no idea. And there's nothing that looks, jumps out to me like looks like it'd be a connection. I'm wondering about fixing, see, you always see that crack where the door, that's where the spring goes, this door doesn't pop back. Can I put, or like epoxy a little metal plate in there, right there, so the door handles pop back into place? Plastic was a dumb idea on GM's part to put there. I think also the second part of that is that the spring is broken. You see one spring tab, there should be a second spring tab. So even if I put a plate there, well, unless without a working spring, it ain't gonna happen. I think I know if somebody has a blazer that's got power, and somebody can see how that thing hooks up, because my driver door is not gonna have that. There's a manual. And it looks like that thing might be riveted in. You see a rivet there. I'm guessing there's a rivet on the back side. I gotta figure that out, because that driver door will not have a power lock unless I put that in there. I don't exactly know how I'm gonna do that. I don't know. This thing's getting deeper by the minute. I was trying to get this emergency cable out, and I was pulling it from the engine bay, and the thing was just separating. And what happened was, this loop on the end had just gotten caught in the door handle, and it's getting stuck. Basically, what I did, I just ran it, I just looped it over this door handle on the bottom side. That was probably fine. This top clip kept it in. Ran it into the door panel, through the door panel. There's a grommet right here, right through there. Ran it into the door jamb, and then up, there's a gap in the fender right there that goes straight to the engine bay. That's how I ran this cable. This cable saved me more than a few times. I just grab the loop on the front, and it opened the door. On my orange truck, when I installed those door parts, I did that on the driver's side, just ease of use. But that is the emergency cable. It works. I would always recommend emergency cable. It's better. Like this, just I used to have a loop on the end. I think the loop, did it break off, or did I not even have a loop? The wire had gotten all splintered. Might not even been a loop. Loop is good. Get you something to pull. Did that better on the second one. This rough wire, that was not fun to pull on. That's that. Slow, man. This thing's gonna be back to a stock beast. Unfortunately, I'm getting rid of it though. That right there, that is a piece I'm gonna have to get out of my former door. It is riveted in. There's a rivet right there. I have to drill that out. It looks like it slots in right there and then just rivets. I'm gonna have to get that. I don't know. I mean, actually, this connects to something. I don't know what it connects to. I don't see anything on the handle that looks like it would connect, but obviously it does. So I don't know. I'm not going to see the answer to that on my parts blazer, because this piece was tied shut, or tied so it wouldn't move. I don't know why, because it's not connecting anything. I mean, I guess I probably did it just so it wouldn't rattle back and forth. That's it, because I was thinking ahead then. But I need to, I know somebody with a blazer that I can look at and see. I'm pretty sure they got power door locks, and I can see how does this connect. Because it's got to connect right to here. I just don't know how. I probably have the part, I just don't know what I'm looking for. I just gotta brag about how I set this thing up, these door poppers way back when. Look at those. Drilled a hole in the kick panel, put some grommets in. That's nice. The other one, for some reason I did it in plastic. You see this? It looks like I taped something over it. I guess rose plastic is not the way to go. If that is a clean install, that's what you should do. Holy cow. If there's an instance that would be good for self-tapper, that was my ground right there. I was running my power and my ground to the solenoid, but this is the ground for the solenoid, for the main box, and I ran a bolt through there and put a nut on the back. It is not easy to get to the back. See, you got that little place there, you got to work your fingers through. It was not easy. I got it off, not easy. That is an instance where you want a self-tapper that threads into the metal. It uses the metal panel as what you're screwing into. It uses the metal panel as a nut instead of a separate nut. Like that, there's a nut floating around back there. It's probably like 3 or 4. I mean, based on how hard it was to get it off, I'm sure it was more difficult even to get it started. I got a magnet, a little magnet one, see if I can get that nut out of there, but that's ridiculous. I was going to try to see if this thing works. I wanted to see if this thing works. I was going to try, I need it grounded, but I'm going to have to find a new ground, because that ground, I ain't putting a nut back on that. That's just too much trouble. You can see, mess of wires pulling this thing out, but I'm going to pull it out completely. I'm not just going to cut wires and call it done. I'm going to remove it completely. You'll never even know it was there. Except for, you got a few extra holes, in the kick panel. So I needed to figure out some of these wires. I was wondering where the wires in this little loom went. Look right there. There's a hole in the carpet. Those are my wires. My grounds are running to somewhere. I'm guessing they run over to this quarter. But I've at least figured out where those go. I don't know what else is in there. Not much. Doesn't seem like it. So I can at least pull those out to there. From there, I know the ground should run to the quarter. The power wires, I'm sure they run all the way to the front. I like to just remove them completely. I don't want to leave any trace. I know I could just snip them and put the trim back on and be done with it, but I like to do a good job. And plus, I'm a little stingy. That is a lot of 12 gauge. Is it 12 gauge? Yeah, that is a lot of 12 gauge wiring. What is that, like 8 feet of 12 gauge wire? I like to hang on to that. It might be even 10 feet with all the looping around stuff. I like to hold on to stuff. So I'm going to see if I can pull that back. At least pull it back to here for now. Every time I think, I'm going to put this on hold. I'm going to do something a little more fun. I'm like, let me do this. Let me do that. And it just keeps on going. So I get power for the brain box directly from this fuse box. This is the fuse box just inside the truck below the dash. There is, if you look at the top, very top, there's a terminal that says power, and I've just got a spade in terminal on my wire. Let's see what this is. So you can see that is this right here is my wire, and that is just spade in terminal. That is the in terminal. It just goes right into the fuse box. The fuse box is just a spot on it, like right in there. It just says power. That wire fits right into it. Internal goes into the fuse box, and then the wire runs all the way to the brain box in the glove box, and that's how this whole system gets power. So my emergency release, I ran it from the jam into the fender, and it came out in that opening right here. I ran it down the fender, and then just right down to where I could reach in the fender well from the outside, grab the end loop, pull it to get the door open. Now, you needed to pull it kind of like this way towards the front of the vehicle, because that's the way the latch runs. Like, if you run perpendicular to the latch, it's not going to open it. You got to run it in the direction of the latch. But I had a loop there, and the loop just stuck out just into the fender well that I could reach it from the outside. So I'm getting parts for my Blazer. This is my parts Blazer. I got this for the engine. That was the door that used to be on my Blazer. The bottom's rusty, so I switched it out. This thing is, it's been sitting here a while. It's seen better days. I'm trying to get a few odds and ends off of it. I really wanted some door lock cylinders. Driver door, didn't have one. Thought it might be the one that matched my truck. Just not there. I was hoping to get the unlock key from this steering column. There's no steering column. Yeah, so this is the thing. This thing is, it would have been a good Blazer at one point. It's probably in rougher shape now than it ever's been. But when I got it, it wasn't bad. Now it certainly has some rot and rust. Alright, so I'm taking out this panel right here. It's the one that goes behind the spare tire on the vehicle. It's crazy how many screws are missing in this interior. I mean, this interior takes a lot of screws. I'm missing a lot of screws. I have a lot of interior screws. I am going to look through them, and I'd like to make this thing complete when I sell it. But I found some of the wires I'm looking for. Here is my ground. You can see it right there. I put a little hole right there. You can see my power wire. So you can see
Left some excess for the ground, that's always good. Here's my power wire coming through. I realized it's coming through because I don't have any rear speakers. You see that is the power wire right there, that loop right there. So that must go into the cell plate. So this should be relatively easy to pull out. I'm hoping I can just take one end and pull it out because it probably just runs right under the carpet. So I'm getting all this stuff out. You know, I'm gonna do a good job on this thing. And luckily I'm finding all the things I need to find. And I did manage to get this panel out without having to take out this top piece. It is loose, you do need to loosen it, but you don't have to take it all the way out. And it's almost like fiberglass, not quite fiberglass, but it's not plastic. It's a little more rigid. I don't know what it is, but a couple of the rear interior pieces, like around the windows, at the top where the dome light is some kind of like resin. Very interesting. But I'm gonna get this ground out. That way I can completely remove those ground wires. I'm gonna see if I can pull out this power wire, because I'm guessing it must go like right over the carpet, like right over the sill plate. I doubt it goes under the sill plate because it'd get crimped or screws through it, but that means it should be good to, or it should be easy to get it out. I mean, if you have ever wondered what's going on in the interior of a Blazer, man, we are taking some deep dives here. So another deep dive into the interior. I was wondering, like, I'd found this rod, wasn't sure what it was, and then as I was looking at this thing, I realized it goes to the power door lock. You can see it's got, let me see if I can rotate it. You see it's got a bit of an opening in it. I think that just goes right over that latch, but it controls the power door lock. Like, it's, you know, secondary part of that. See it moving in there? I think that's what it does. I do have another Blazer where I can look and see exactly how it connects, but I'm guessing it either goes maybe underneath. This, like, takes the latch out, it goes underneath this part. That's what I'm guessing. That's how I'm gonna install if I don't find go by. You definitely need to ground these things. You can see I did a bunch of bolts and nuts. It just makes it hard to reach behind and grab those bolts or those nuts, depending on how you do it. The thing to do is get a self-tapper, a metal self-tapping screw. That way it screws right into the metal, it threads as it goes, and just makes these bolts and nuts a little less fiddly. Now, I was wondering why my brain box for the wireless stuff wasn't working. This little spade terminal is the power into the fuse box. I don't know, man. I don't know. These wires are just, I was trying to plug this thing back in after having unplugged it, and the wires were just kind of sheared off. So that may have something to do with why it doesn't seem like it's getting power. Could be that. Could be this helper right here who's just trying to eat everything in the floor. He's not helping anything. So you can see in there, that is the toggle that connects to the power window or the power lock actuator. Now I've got that bolt, let's see. I got that bolt right there. It should be a rivet that looks like that. Well, you know what? I don't have one of those rivets. I don't have a rivet one that big. And for now, I need this thing in there because if I don't have a bolt in there, it's going to want to fall out. There's only in there with one bolt. It kind of slides, a little clip on the other side. So if I get a rivet, because I need to switch out, this is a manual window. I need power window. I need to fix that. This wire came out of here. I need to see if I can re-crimp that or redo something. Remember, I don't have any door. I don't have a set of door cylinders. I'm going to see if I have any other door cylinders. I should have one floating around here, but you know, my parts, some have gotten just tossed. I realized, like, hey, let me put in this washer fluid bottle. I've got all the connections here. You know, that's one less thing that is empty and blank. I've got 3 of these suckers. I got a bunch of them. I got the one that looked the best. I had one that's all cracked up and broken because you shouldn't tighten these things too tight. Still a lot of little stuff to do, but I'm done with this thing. I'm just done with this thing. I'm ready to pull it out, but it's in such a state of disarray. If somebody were to look at this right now, they'd give me nothing for it, and I want to maximize what I get out of it. You know, if I can get $50 more for spending an hour into this, I'm gonna do it. And so I need to put this back together. I really would like the door locks. I'd like to have a set of that, so I need to just gather up the locks I have. I'm gonna look for the last cylinder. I'm gonna gather up the cylinders I have, and maybe they can, like, redo the tumblers, because I've got 2 locks that match, and I got one that doesn't. Well, I think I have 2 that match. I don't know, because I don't have a key for them. But they came out of a vehicle that should work. The lock cylinder in the driver door that I thought might work, that doesn't work. That is not a match. So, actually, could it be a match? It could be a match. Actually, I don't know, because I don't have the key. So I got 2 that match, maybe one that does, maybe one that doesn't. But I'm going to look for this last cylinder, because if I can find one more cylinder, well, between these 2, I don't know. It should, whatever. I need this thing done. I want it out of here. I'm ready for the next project. But this is like where the rubber meets the road, where you got all this crunch time, all these little pieces. I mean, this thing is disarray. So I'm just going to try to get it looking best I can. I definitely need a power washer. I mean, if you've seen it, you've seen how bad this thing looks. A good power washer will probably take most of the paint off. That's okay. I thought I might paint it. And I'm still toying with that. But that is a fair amount of effort to do it well. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it well. But I would like some practice on painting something. Maybe I just take hoods and fenders and some random body parts I have and practice on that instead of practicing the whole car. Because, I mean, it's all about the same thing. I got this. Anyway, this project, ugh. So check this out. This is from LMC Truck. It's all the window trims that go around the window. This is the passenger window. And I remember I bought all new window trim for, I had an orange S10, bought all new window trim because this rubber just gets eaten up with sunlight, gets torn up. And I replaced the driver's side and it gave me so many problems. I don't remember what happened exactly, but my driver's side window would never roll up and down. And it's all like the window track goes all around the door, and then the trim that goes outside, inside at the belt line. I can't remember what happened. I remember like that window, I replaced it all because the rubber was so chewed up on the driver's side. Unfortunately, on this Blazer, the driver's side is the worst side. This is only the passenger side. I don't remember what happened. I just remember that window never worked, and then finally, when I was getting ready to sell it, I figured it out and fixed it. I don't remember what it was though, but yeah, on this Blazer, the driver's side is like the window track itself. That window flops around a lot. I'll show you. Check this out. Like, look at this window. Look at how much wobble there is in that. And that's because they're supposed to be rubber, like a rubber seal, and it's just all broken out. You can see it looks all jagged and cut because that seal is just broken. It gets compressed over time. It's all messed up. You know, this one's cracked and broken. My passenger side is better. Unfortunately, I don't have that. But you can see this window track. This is why I replaced the rest on my orange S10. I don't have this one. Do I want to buy it? Probably not. Can I sell just the passenger? Probably not. People are probably going to want it in pairs. I wonder if I could buy just driver's side, but it's probably gonna be like $100 just for that. I don't want to pay that. Well, I mean, just look at this window. There's a ton of movement there because there's no track. So back here, I'm just trying to find screws for all the openings, and I've got like a bucket or a box of interior screws somewhere. I mean, I've taken so many of these Blazers apart and kept all the screws because there's so many screws. I mean, look, there's 3 screws right there. There's 2 screws here. There's 3 along the top. There's 3 more here. They're over here. They're everywhere. And I've got a bunch of them. I think I'm going to put this whole thing together. There's a lot. Oh, you know, I've been putting this in around the perimeter. And I forgot that, I think this is the handle, but the seatbelt, I think the seatbelt bolts up somewhere. Oh, it bolts up back here. And it comes out, like, there's a big bolt for the seatbelt right there. So I may have to take this whole thing out. That's the problem. Like, you got to take so much out to get this thing together. But I will have this interior in. I mean, I don't have a headliner. I guess I could get one. I don't think I'm going to worry about it. But I'm going to have a screw in every interior spot. So when somebody gets this, man, they're going to know, like, hey, there's stuff here. There's stuff together. Somebody did something. Why does this look like it's out of whack? Like, see that gap? It's way out of whack. I don't think it is. Maybe just this piece. Is that just? Oh yeah, I think this trim is just too far out. Anyway, I'm gonna be working on this interior. I probably have a floor jack, or not a floor jack, a little, what was it, scissor jack? I probably have one of those. I think maybe it fits like this way, or maybe, I don't know. But I mean, this is the right lug nut wrench. I know I've got a jack. I've got this cover. I'm gonna have this thing as complete as possible. This is kind of fun. I was feeling like a little agitated about this vehicle. But putting the interior together, I know I've got it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to succeed. I'm going to win. And that's pretty nice. Check that out. I got power locks on the passenger side. The driver's side is not working. No clue why. I assume it used to work. But the passenger side works. So, you know, it's halfway there. Come to think of it, maybe the driver's side doesn't work because the power window is not plugged up. I think all that stuff has to be plugged up for it to work. So my power window is not plugged on the driver's side because it's not installed. That could be the problem there. I sure hope so, because that would be convenient if there's nothing wrong. You just need to plug everything up. So I thought before I unplug the battery, let me check the window. This window does not work. So is it all the power? Both windows need to be plugged up for either window to work? So I don't know. Either I have a window problem here or a driver door lock problem on the driver's side. Who's to know? Who's to say? We may never find out. Looking good.